I knew something was wrong the moment I saw her walk away from me. The party was loud, music thumping, glasses clinking, laughter echoing through the ballroom, but all of it blurred into the background when I realized my wife, Emma, had left my side without a word. We'd come together. We always did. For years, we had been each other's anchor in rooms like this, finding comfort in little glances across the crowd. Tonight, though, she was gone. I scanned the dance floor, the buffet, the little clusters of guests. My stomach twisted when I finally spotted her. She wasn't alone. She was leaning against the bar, head tilted, smiling at a man I didn't recognize. His hand rested on the counter just a little too close to her hip. And she wasn't pulling away. Before I could take a step toward them, a voice cut through the noise. "Well, since you're single tonight, how about a dance?" I turned to see a woman in a flowing emerald dress, holding out her hand with a playful smile. The word single hit me harder than it should have. She didn't mean it, of course. She was teasing, picking up on the fact that Emma wasn't standing with me. But the word sank deep into my chest. Single. That's exactly how I felt in that moment. I forced a laugh and shook my head. Maybe later. The woman shrugged and drifted off, leaving me alone with the weight pressing down on my chest. The rest of the night dragged on. Emma barely came near me, except for a quick wave when someone called her over to take pictures. She was radiant, laughing, glowing even, but not with me. I stood there, smiling for the sake of appearances, clenching my jaw so tight it hurt. When we finally got into the car, the silence was deafening. "Did you have fun?" she asked lightly, scrolling through her phone as if she hadn't spent the entire evening avoiding me. "Depends," I said, gripping the steering wheel. "Did you?" Her head snapped up. "What's that supposed to mean?" "You tell me," I muttered. She sighed, annoyed. "Not this again. You're always reading too much into things. Emma, you left me standing there like I didn't even exist. And then I see you laughing with some guy all night." "He's a colleague," she cut in sharply. "We were just talking." God, why do you always have to be so insecure? The word insecure burned in my ears. It wasn't insecurity, it was instinct. But I swallowed it down. The last thing I wanted was another screaming match. For days after, I tried to shake it off. Tried to convince myself I was overreacting. But little cracks started appearing in the routine of our marriage. Emma guarded her phone more than usual. She stayed late at work, claiming deadlines. And she stopped reaching for me in bed. One night, I heard her in the bathroom with the door closed, whispering into her phone. When I opened the door, she jumped, eyes wide, clutching the device to her chest. "Who are you talking to?" I asked, my voice trembling. "No one," she snapped. "It was just work stuff." But the lie was written all over her face. I didn't want to become the kind of husband who snooped, but desperation has a way of stripping you down. A week later, when she left her phone charging on the kitchen counter, I picked it up. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely type her password. When the screen unlocked, I saw them. Dozens of messages. His name was Mark. "Can't stop thinking about last night. Wish we were together right now. You looked so beautiful at the party." The words blurred as tears stung my eyes. My heart raced, my chest ached, and for a moment I couldn't breathe. Then came her replies. "I miss you too. Last night was amazing. I wish I could just leave everything and be with you. Leave everything. That meant me. That meant our marriage, our home, our years together." I set the phone down like it burned my hand. My knees buckled, and I sank into the chair, staring at the wall. I wanted to scream, to punch something, to run outside and never come back. But all I did was sit there in silence, feeling like my entire life had just collapsed. That night, I didn't confront her. I couldn't. I needed to process it, to hold the truth in my hands before I threw it in her face. I lay awake in bed beside her, listening to her steady breathing, wondering how she could sleep so peacefully with betrayal sitting on her lips. The next morning, I asked her casually, "So how's work been?" She barely looked up from her coffee. "Busy as usual." "With Mark?" I said softly. Her head jerked up, eyes wide. For a second, she didn't speak. That silence told me everything. "How do you?" she started, but I cut her off. "I saw the messages." Her face crumbled, then hardened. You went through my phone? That's what you're worried about. My voice cracked. Not the fact that you've been cheating on me? Her lips trembled. She didn't deny it. She didn't even try. We sat in silence for what felt like hours. Finally, she whispered, I didn't mean for it to happen. That's the thing about betrayal, Emma, I said bitterly. It doesn't care what you meant. It destroys everything anyway. Tears welled in her eyes. I still love you. I laughed, the hollow, broken sound. No, you love the idea of me. You love the security I give you. But love doesn't do this. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. The touch that once anchored me now felt like poison. The days that followed were a blur of arguments, slammed doors, and sleepless nights. Friends called to check in, but I couldn't bring myself to explain. How do you put into words the feeling of watching the person you trusted most tear your heart apart? One night, I found myself standing in front of the mirror, staring at a man I barely recognized. Hollow eyes, tight jaw, a heaviness that clung to my shoulders like chains. That's when it hit me. Staying with Emma meant slowly dying inside. And I wasn't ready to let betrayal be the last chapter of my life. I told her I wanted a separation. She cried, begged, promised it was over with him. But I'd heard enough promises. Promises had become knives in my back. Maybe you can fix what you broke, I told her. But you can't fix it with me. Not anymore. The finality of my words hung in the air between us. She looked at me like I'd just ripped the ground out from under her. But the truth was she'd been the one digging the hole all along. Months later, I went to another party, this time alone. The music was just as loud, the laughter just as bright. But when a guest approached and asked if I wanted to dance, I didn't feel the sting of that word single anymore. Instead, I smiled. Because I wasn't broken. I was free.